Greetings, you wonderful people of the internet. My name is GammaFox and welcome to my thoughts on Aggravate as a reaction, or Aggravate and Spread, catalyze in general. So catalyze is an interesting reaction, right? At first I thought it was going to be like a status effect, kind of like superconduct, where it decreases their resistance to physical or an element in this case by a certain percent for a certain amount of time. Where in this case, it's more as if it's its own reaction that just increases the amount of damage and has its own ICDs. Okay, so we have our good friend Masanori here, guys. We're going to do some testing on him. So one thing that I did find out is that the catalyze reaction, right, the status of it, that's the base reaction. So we apply Dendro, then we apply electro, whoops, we get the Quicken reaction, which is catalyze. So he's got all that green lightning around him, that's him in the catalyze or quickened status, right? So now it's gone again, so I need to reapply electro and Dendro. Careful there, buddy. So now he's back in it again. So if I apply any kind of electro damage, I get Aggravate, which gives me a bonus, see 26,000, 23,000 I think, it's not 26,000, Aggravate damage there. And it's also the same vice versa for Dendro. So you get Spread, which gives you extra Dendro damage. Now one thing that's good to note is this actual status only lasts 8 seconds. So if I wait for the timer here, right, if I apply this right at the 58 second mark, that should run out by the 50 second mark. So if we watch it carefully, oh, careful there, buddy. It's time to flash, and it's gone. See, by the 50 second marker there, perfectly. So the catalyze status lasts for 8 seconds before you need to reapply it again. So my Fischl only has 16 EM. This is another reaction, Fish. I'm talking, girl. This is another reaction that also scales off your EM. So my Fish for only 16 EM. Let's see how much extra damage she gets when she gets a Aggravate reaction. So her base is 8,400, right? Let's see how much she gets from doing that. 11,500. So she gets a small boost there from getting a crit charge shot. Okay, but if we replace her Sans with an EM Sans, so if I steal my Kazu ones here, her crit stats are going to stay relatively the same. Yeah, she's got pretty much the same crit stats. And her attack has dropped down by 400. So that's quite a decent amount, right? Okay, so now if we test it this time with the extra EM, so let's just have a look at how much EM Fish has. She has 187 this time. So now, let's see how much damage a crit Aggravate will do. 12,400. So that's with less attack. So it's the same case with Bloom. It's a balance of whether you want to prioritize your reaction damage or you want to prioritize your personal damage. Now the most important thing about Aggravate and Spread is that they have their own ICDs. You can't during the 8 seconds that it's active, that catalyze is active, you can't constantly get Aggravate and Spread. So for example, right, if I apply Dendro on this guy here, then activate Quicken. Look, I get no Aggravate, no Aggravate, no Aggravate, and we got Aggravate there. See, the 9,400 was the Aggravate damage, the 3,000 was her base damage. So I couldn't constantly proc Aggravate. It has its own internal cooldown, so that's really important. We'll do it again against this guy. So if I E with her, I Quicken there, I get the Aggravate on the second hit, which is nice, but I'm attacking. See? Aggravate only procced once there during that whole entire string. So that is really unfortunate because that actually hurts characters like Keqing who attack really fast and you really want her big hits to proc the Aggravate. I'm pretty sure, guys, that the best way to run a catalyzed team is 2 Electro and 2 Dendro. Behold. Because you're boosting, because Spread and Aggravate proc on their own, right? They're different ICDs. So if we do this right, we're gonna let's apply Dendro on you. We're gonna do Lumine's bursts. We're gonna summon Fischl. We're gonna do catalyze bursts. Here we go. See, Spread and Aggravate all happening, and it's dead. See, Spread and Aggravate were all happening individually there, on their own. So they're all, rock, thank you, money, yay. They were all getting their own individual damage boosts. So that's really important. And that's really what I'm looking forward to Theorycrafters figuring out, is how much EM is optimal to have for these kind of reactions. Because obviously, right, you want your character to have their own high personal damage, like Keqing, right? but to give her more EM also means I'm reducing her attack for like an EM Sans or something. So it's really, that's the difficult thing with this reaction. Where do you draw the line? Where is it worth giving them Elemental Mastery? Where is it worth just sticking to having more attack? Hey guys, future GammaFox here. Actually, while I was editing this video, I have changed my mind on Keqing when it comes to Aggravate, because she actually is very good at Aggravate. Because in reality, it's still a lot of extra damage, and Aggravate does multiply with Elemental Mastery. So it's good to keep in mind is that double Dendro increases your Elemental Mastery by 50, I think it was, and adds extra if you do a reaction. And that means all Electro characters benefit from extra Elemental Mastery. And honestly, I am heavily leaning towards giving her this set, because this increases Elemental Mastery, and its passive also gives her, if you're playing in a 2 Electro and 2 Dendro team, this is going to give you 14 attack percent and 100 EM on top of that, which is going to give her more attack, so it does more flat damage, and it's also going to boost her Aggravate extra damage she gets on top of that. Also, you get the 80 EM as well, which is super nice, and that also gives her the flexibility to build her as a DPS too, so you can still go Attack Sans, Electro Cup, and Crit Headpiece. And considering the fact that you can just constantly keep Aggravate active with 2 Dendro and 2 Electro teams, that's just Keqing doing more and more damage. So it's not a bad thing, it's still actually very good. So just to give you guys a taste of how powerful Aggravate Keqing can be, I'm entering the artifact domain, and this gives you an EM boost based off 10% of your party's total EM. So we've got Kuki here of over 1052 EM, and that means Keqing's going to have 269 EM, which is really nice actually, considering she only has like 60 to begin with. So she's getting nearly 100% extra Aggravate damage. So we're going to test that out here, right? Okay.
You are not welcome.
Normally she does 3,440 normal, her first hit of her auto attack, right? So if we inflict Aggravate, right? So let's try it again. If I get a chance to, 12,500 and I can't remember the other numbers. That's such a huge. That's an insane increase. So let's just see how quickly I can beat up these guys. Just using this Aggravate team, or Quicken team, I should say. If I just don't die, that'll be nice. These guys are really annoying actually to fight. Look how much this does. Look at that. I don't know how much damage I did there, but it looks like a lot. 17,000 charge attack damage. That's so good, man. It's so good. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. 23,000, man. Let's go. Boom. Boom. And 12,000 from her E as well. Like, that's such a substantial increase. You can't really tell how much extra damage you're doing there. I don't even know if that 21,000 was actually an Aggravate trigger, but man, it's good. It's really good. Okay, just to confirm, I just want to see how much damage her normal burst does with the final hit. Hopefully it crits. 15,000, yeah, so that was an increase from 15,000 to what was it, 21,000? And those guys were also higher level too, so obviously their defense would be higher and such. So the final hit of her burst went up from 15,000 to, went up like 8,000 damage. That's so much. That also means that the lower the scaling on the attack, the better of a boost it will get, because the damage you get based on your Elemental Mastery is flat damage, I'm pretty sure. It's the same with Yunjin and Yoimiya. Like, her first hit was 75% of her attack, while her burst hit is 378%. That's why the scaling was a little bit less than her auto attack, which went from like 3,000 to 12,000, which is insane. See, that also means that a character like Kuki, who has very low scaling on her attacks, is gonna hit like a truck. Like, this is probably gonna hit really hard too. I just haven't tested it. Anyways, guys, that's basically the gist of everything I've learned so far with the catalyze reaction. It's definitely not, I don't think it's as good as Bloom. Bloom seems to be so much more consistent, so much more powerful too as well, and it's a pretty clear line of where to have in terms of Elemental Mastery and attack. With Bloom too, you can also just have sub-DPS characters like Kuki or Toma who do bug-roll personal damage, but as long as they're triggering the reactions, that's where their damage comes from. Where in this case, you want the characters that hit hard to trigger the reactions, because it also scales with crit. The extra damage just gets tapped on. So it's a really difficult but really interesting reaction to work around. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem too good of Keqing as well, which is a big shame. I mean, it's still extra damage, but I would have liked Keqing to be like really good, you know, but oh well. It is what it is. Anyways guys, let me know what you think about this reaction in the comments below, and as usual, I'll see you all next time.